Have you ever opened your teenager's bedroom door and immediately forgotten why you came in? I do that a lot with every room. Not because you're getting older, although let's not rule that out, but because the sheer state of that room hits you like a wall. Clothes on the floor, cups you're pretty sure from last week or last season, a chair that actually hasn't been sat in since 2019 because it's now a clothing monument. And you just stand there thinking, how does it even get like this? Because here's the thing. You didn't raise them in a barn. You showed them how to clean a room. You've said words about this, many, many words, and yet here we are. We're talking about teen bedroom chaos, why it happens, why it seems especially confusing when you're parenting later in life, and why you don't want to turn into the cleanliness police. The idea is with the well-seasoned parent that we have different ways of handling things now that we're in this season of life. Your teen's room is one of them. We'll talk about the reminders, the 47 gentle nudges that somehow turn into a speech. And we're going to land in a place that might surprise you where good enough cleaning is actually good enough. Much different than when I was younger. Now, when you're raising teens later in life, this hits differently because at this stage, you've already learned a few things. One, you like a reasonably clean space. Two, you've earned the right to not live in chaos. And three, you know how fast time goes. So when you see that room, it's not just a mess, it's confusion. Because in your mind, you're thinking, if I let something go this long, it would take me 2 business days and a recovery nap to fix it. Meanwhile, your teenager walks in, steps over 3 hoodies, 2 water bottles, and something unidentified, and doesn't even blink. That's the part that gets you, not the mess, but the complete lack of awareness of the mess. So what do? We remind them, nicely at first. Hey, could you clean your room today? And they say, yeah, I will. Now, you and I both know that I will is not tied to any known calendar system. So a few hours later, hey, did you get a chance to start your room? I'm about to. And that phase right there, I'm about to, has bought teenagers an extra 24 to 48 hours since the beginning of time. Then comes day 2. Now your tone changes just a little. Okay, I need you to clean your room today. And suddenly you're getting sighs. You're getting dramatic flops on the bed, on top of the pile, of course. And somewhere along the way you realize you have become the narrator of a story you never meant to write. The case of the room that would not clean itself. Now, if you're not careful, this becomes a whole thing. You start pointing. What is this? Why is this here? Is that a plate? And your teen is standing there like you've just uncovered ancient artifacts. And you can feel it. You're about 2 sentences away from saying, in my day, which is the universal signal that the conversation has officially gone off the rails. But here's where we pause, just a little. Because as frustrating as it is, this mess, it's not about disrespect. It's not about them trying to drive you crazy. It's about a brain that just isn't wired yet for systems, priorities, or future me will appreciate this. They live very much in the now. If it's not bothering them, it's not urgent. Now, do I like that? No. Do we understand it? Also no. But I've learned to work with it instead of fighting it every single day. So here's where I've learned after raising more than a few teenagers. Any effort to clean it counts, truly. If they pick up the obvious trash, win. If they clear a path to the bed, victory. If they gather laundry into one location, even if that location is the chair of no return, progress. Because what we're really teaching here isn't perfection, it's movement. It's awareness. It's the habit of eventually dealing with the mess, even if eventually it takes a little longer than we prefer. And I'll tell you something else. If you wait for it to be done your way, you're going to be frustrated a whole lot more than necessary. And at this stage of life, we don't need extra frustration. We've had enough of that already. Also, can we just say this part out loud? Nobody is coming over asking to take a tour of your teenager's bedroom. This is not a model home situation. This is a lived-in, growing up, figuring it out space. And sometimes it looks exactly like that. So here's my tip for you, especially if you're parenting teens a little later in life. Pick your standard and protect your peace. Set a few non-negotiables. No food left long enough to become a science project. No smells that introduce themselves before you enter the room. And basic pathways so no one needs hiking boots to get to the bed. But beyond that, let good enough be good enough. When I was younger, I did this much differently. I asked once, and if it wasn't done, I started to levy consequences. Since you're not doing your room, then I think you can go out and cut the grass. And they would have to go out and cut the grass or whatever it is I said. And then they would come in and clean their room. And that took care of it for a long time. They would do what they were asked, and that's incredibly important. And so if you decide to go that way, by all means, do it. In other words, you can parent them and have them respond to the sound of your voice as a teen and show them what will happen if they don't. And there's a lot to be said for that with younger parents. And I've done it. Believe me, I've done it for many, many years. With being an older parent and raising a teen, I'm a little more relaxed, which is a benefit for me and the teen. So I'm at the point where I really do let good enough be good enough, because it's an effort. And they know it's not what I asked, but they'll work at it. So because my relationship with my teen matters a lot more than whether every sock makes it into a drawer, that's what I do. And one day, and it comes faster than you think, that room will be clean. Not because they finally figured it out. They'll be in their own apartment, and their rooms will be clean because that's what you've taught them. But this room will be clean because they've moved on. And you might just find yourself standing in that doorway again, missing the mess a little more than you ever thought you would. So make a choice. Parent this way or parent this way. The important thing is keep your peace. Keep your peace. And keep your relationship with your teen honest. If you have questions, get in touch with a well-seasoned parent and come back for more. We'll see you in the next video. Give me a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Till next time.